My name is M69, and I'm the author of Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited. 17 long years ago, I suggested that the only viable and feasible strategy for a victim of a narcissist or a psychopath, victim of narcissistic abuse, is no contact. No contact whatsoever. At first, this advice was very controversial. People insisted that a modicum of contact with a narcissist and psychopath is a good idea. Today I'm glad to say no contact is the conventional wisdom and the orthodox advice and tip to victims of narcissists. So what did I mean and what do I mean when I say no contact? First of all, be sure to maintain as much contact with your abuser as the courts, counselors, evaluators, mediators, guardians, or law enforcement officials mandate. Do not contravene the decisions of the system. Do not go against the courts. Work from the inside to change judgments, evaluations, or rulings, but never ignore them. You will only turn the system against you and against your interests. But with the exception
of this minimum mandated by the courts, decline any and all gratuitous contact with a narcissist or psychopath. Do not respond to the narcissist's pleading, romantic, nostalgic, flattering, or threatening email messages. Return to him all gifts that he sends you. Refuse him entry to your premises. Do not even respond to the intercom. Do not talk to him on the phone. Hang up the minute you hear his voice, while making clear to him in a single, polite, but firm sentence that you are determined to not talk to him any longer. Do not answer his letters or any other forms of communication. Do not visit him on special occasions or in emergencies in the hospital, for instance. Do not respond to questions, requests, or pleas forwarded to you via third parties. Disconnect from third parties whom you know are spying on you at his behest. Do not discuss him with your children. Do not discuss him with your children. Do not gossip about him. Do not ask him for anything, even if you are in dire need. When you are forced to meet him, do not discuss your personal affairs or his. Do not go into the territory of intimacy. Do not go back to La La Land. Relegate any inevitable contact with him, when and where possible, to professionals, to your lawyer, to your accountant. Avoiding contact with your abuser is a form of setting boundaries, and setting boundaries is a form of healing. Refuse to accept abusive behavior. Demand reasonably predictable and rational actions and reactions from everyone around you. Insist on respect for your boundaries, predilections, preferences, and priorities. Demand a just and proportional treatment. Reject or ignore unjust and capricious, unpredictable behavior. If confrontation, react in kind. Let him taste some of his own medicine. Never show your abuser that you're afraid of him. Do not negotiate with bullies. They are insatiable. Do not succumb to blackmail. If things get rough, disengage. Involve law enforcement officers, friends, colleagues, or even threaten him, legally of course, by a lawyer. Do not keep your abuse a secret. Secrecy is the abuser's weapon. Sunshine disinfects abuse. Never give him a second chance. React with all your full arsenal to the first transgression. Do not wait for the second one. Be guarded. Don't be too forthcoming in a first or casual meeting. Gather intelligence before you commit. Be yourself. Don't misrepresent your wishes, boundaries, preferences, priorities, and red lines. Do not mislead. Do not behave inconsistently. Do not go back on your word. These kind of things create expectations that may end up very badly. Be firm. Be resolute.
but be polite and civil. The problem in interactions with abusers is a mismatch of expectations. Stay away from such quagmires. Scrutinize every offer and suggestion, no matter how innocuous, and feel free to reject those which you find unacceptable. Prepare backup plans. Keep others informed of your whereabouts and appraised of your situation at any moment. Be vigilant. Be doubting. Do not be gullible. Do not be suggestible. Better safe than sorry. Often the abuser's proxies are unaware of their role. He sends people your way to spy on you, to harass you, to abuse you, to convince you, to flatter you, to cajole you. Expose him. Inform these people. Demonstrate to them how they are being abused, misused, and plain used by the abusers. Show them that they are his unwilling and unwitting instruments. Trap your abuser. Treat him as he treats you. Involve others. Bring it into the open. Nothing like sunshine to disinfect abuse. Remember that. Good luck to you.
I'm Sam Vaknin, and I'm the author of Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited. If the narcissist is as abusive as I portray him, why do many victims react so badly when the narcissist finally leaves the scene? Well, the answer is that at the commencement of the relationship, the narcissist is a dream come true. He is often intelligent, witty, charming, good-looking, an achiever, empathic, in need of love, loving, caring, attentive, and much more besides. He is the perfect bundled answer to the nagging questions of life, finding meaning, companionship, compatibility, and happiness. He is, in other words, ideal. It is difficult to let go of this idealized figure. Relationships with narcissists inevitably and invariably end with the dawn of a double realization. The first is that one has been abused by the narcissist and duped by him. And the second is that one was regarded by the narcissist as a disposable, dispensable, and interchangeable instrument or object. The assimilation of this new painful knowledge is an excruciating process, often unsuccessfully completed with no closure. People get fixated at different stages of disengaging from the narcissist. They fail to come to terms with their rejection as human beings, the most total form of rejection there is. We all react to loss. Loss makes us feel helpless and objectified. When our loved ones die, we feel that nature or God or life treated us as playthings. When we divorce, especially if we did not initiate the breakup, we often feel that we have been exploited and abused in the relationship, that we are being dumped, that our needs and emotions are ignored. In short, we again feel objectified. Losing the narcissist is no different to any other major loss in life. It provokes a cycle of bereavement and grief, as well as some kind of mild post-traumatic stress syndrome in cases of severe abuse. This cycle has 4 phases: denial, rage, sadness, and acceptance. Denial can assume many forms. Some people go on pretending that the narcissist is still a part of their lives, even going to the extreme of interacting with the narcissist by pretending to communicate with him or to meet him through others, for instance. Other people develop persecutory delusions, thus incorporating the imaginary narcissist into their lives as an ominous and dark, everlasting presence. This ensures his continued interest in them, however malevolent and threatening that interest is perceived to be. Better to be stalked than to be ignored. Of course, these are radical denial mechanisms which border on the psychotic and often dissolve into brief psychotic microepisodes. More benign and transient forms of denial include the development of ideas of reference. The narcissist's every move or utterance is interpreted to be directed at the suffering person, his ex, and to carry a hidden message which can be decoded only by this recipient, by the ex. Other people abandoned by the narcissist deny the very narcissistic nature of the narcissist. They attribute his abusive conduct to ignorance, mischief, lack of self-control due to childhood abuse or trauma, or even benign intentions. This denial mechanism leads them to believe that the narcissist is really not a narcissist, but someone who is not aware of his true being, or someone who merely and innocently enjoys mind games and toying with people's lives, or an unwitting part of a dark conspiracy to defraud and abuse gullible victims. Often the narcissist is depicted as obsessed or possessed, imprisoned by his invented condition, and really deep inside, a nice and gentle and lovable person. At the healthier end of the spectrum of denial reactions, we find the classical denial of loss, that is belief, the hope that the narcissist may reconsider and return, the suspension and repression of all information to the contrary. Denial in mentally healthy people quickly evolves into rage. There are a few types of rage. Rage can be focused and directed at the narcissist, at other facilitators of the loss, such as the narcissist lover, or at specific circumstances. Rage can be directed at oneself, which often leads to depression, suicidal ideation, self-mutilation, and in some cases, actual suicide. Or rage can be diffuse, all-pervasive, all-encompassing, and engulfing. Such loss-related rage can be intense and in bursts or osmotic and permeate the whole emotional landscape. Rage then gives place to sadness. It is the sadness of the trapped animal, an existential angst mixed with acute depression. It involves dysphoria, an inability to rejoice, to be optimistic or expectant, anhedonia, an inability to experience pleasure or to find meaning in life. Such sadness is a paralyzing sensation, which slows one down and enshrouds everything in the grey veil of randomness and chance. It all looks meaningless and empty. And this sadness in turn gives place to gradual acceptance, renewed energy, and bouts of activity. The narcissist is gone, both physically and mentally. The void left in his wake still hurts, and pangs of regret and hope still exist. But on the whole, the narcissist is transformed into a narrative, symbol, another life experience, or even a tedious cliché. He is no longer omnipresent, and his former victim entertains no delusions as to the one-sided and abusive nature of the relationship, or as to the possibility and desirability of its renewal. And this is the healthy conclusion of an unhealthy relationship.